Hello and welcome in to the long-awaited episode 4 of Endless Ranting. I'm your host, Hogdale. We're out here after a long hiatus because your boy cannot stick to a fucking upload schedule or even make an upload schedule to save his life. I'm out here and we're back. New news. Listen, from now on, every episode will be streamed on twitch.tv/Hogdale33. There will be at least one episode a week. I'm fucking guaranteeing it. I want to stick to it. I want to, cultivate the community, keep myself busy during the offseason. Plus, I got a lot of shit to say. One of the first things I do want to say is that for the two people that watched episode 3 of Endless Ranting, which, by the way, came out just about a year ago, a little over a year ago, that episode was just before the Patriots hired Gerard Mayo. This was just, they hadn't even announced that Elliott Wolf would be the leader, the main decision maker of the team at that point too. Both of those things had not happened yet. So, what did I say at the time? Well, I will inform you on what I said for those who didn't watch. Basically, what happened is I said I put forward a cautionary tale, for the New England Patriots. I said, listen, hey, if you hire Gerard Mayo, it's going to go poorly. The reason it's going to go poorly is because you are clinging on to the Belichick era and the Belichick culture. If you hire Gerard Mayo, it doesn't matter what he does, the defense is going to take a step back because he is not Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick is the greatest defensive mind to ever do it. So, no matter who you were going to hire, the defense is going to take a step back. Also, the offense sucks. The offense sucks and has sucked for a while. It is an absolute joke of a unit. And I said even at the time, hey, you shouldn't even hire Mike Vrabel. I don't even think Vrabel's the right move. He would be better, but it's the same line of thinking. You need to cut ties with the Belichick era. It's over. You need to move forward to a guy like a Ben Johnson. I was saying that last fucking year. I was right about literally fucking everything. If you watch that episode of Endless Ranting, if you watch it, it's like I'm predicting the future. It's literally like I'm predicting the fucking future about what's going to happen. Now, some would ask, if some fat idiot on the fucking internet can see this coming, how can the head decision makers of the New England Patriots not figure it out? Some would ask that. I would ask that. Me personally, I would ask that. So I just want to lead off with a really big I told you so to any motherfucker who talked to me on Twitter in the last year. Someone had the audacity, the unmitigated gall to tell me to stick to baseball when I was talking about the Patriots last year. I cut my teeth for 6 years in the undertows of Pat's chat and fucking, literally talking nothing but Patriots before I even picked up a microphone. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I watch sports. That's my getaway. That's my escape. You think I just know socks? Are you insane? No. I just need to go start off with a quick, I fucking told you so. Just need to establish that. And now we go to our main point. So, you hired Gerard Mayo. How'd that go? Well, it went pretty bad. He's a pretty bad head coach. He kind of fucking reeks. And, the people come out of the woodwork defending him, falling at his feet. Oh, my God. Gerard Mayo, it's his first year. You got to give him a break, guys. You got to give Gerard Mayo a break. I mean, he had no chance. I would say he had a tough job. It definitely wasn't an easy job. But we need to consider a few things here. The Patriots being as bad as they were last year was extremely fucking difficult. Do you know how hard it is to be bad enough to get the number 3 pick in the NFL draft? That's usually a once-in-a-decade thing for a franchise to be that bad. And part of the reason they were that bad was because they had the worst quarterback play in the league. Mac Jones was the worst quarterback in the NFL for the Patriots in that season. So, moving forward to the next year, you have Drake May. I think we can all agree, for people who have watched the New England Patriots in the year 2024, Drake May is fucking great. Drake May is really good. In terms of talent level, Drake is great. In terms of his actual output on the field, it's statistically, I think, been league average. Going from 32nd in terms of quarterback production to league average and being worse is an insanely fucking hard thing to do. Like, how do you... Having quarterback play that is that significantly better and being worse is a gigantic indictment on the head coach. I don't fully put the defense being worse on Gerard Mayo. Like I told you before, I knew it was going to get worse. That's how it works when you go from the greatest defensive mind of all time to anybody else. The defense is going to drop off, that's fine. What's not acceptable is how undisciplined this team is. What's unacceptable is just the complete garbage, like fucking game planning. Everything has been bad. Everything. It's been terrible. As Alex points out, we lost 8 one-score games. That's hard to do. That's bad coaching. That's bad fucking coaching, man. And I'm not going to come out here and tell you that the talent on the team is good. It's not. It absolutely is not. The talent on the team sucks. The GMing has been absolutely abysmal. The free agency last year, joke. I mean, it was a joke. It was terrible. But listen, man, they are the number 1 pick right now. You can't tell me Mayo's been good. If Mayo was a great head coach, you know. If Mayo was a good head coach, you know. Because you're going to win some games based on the mind and the strategic ability / time management ability of your head coach. You're going to win games like that. The Patriots have won absolutely 0 of those games because he fucking reeks. Now, what are we going to do here? Are we going to waste our time for another year? Are we really going to waste our time another year with Gerard Mayo? To me, it's it's a joke. Because I'll tell you exactly what'll happen. I'm going to predict the future again here right now for you. If the Patriots retain Gerard Mayo, here's what's going to happen. They will improve next year. You want to know why? Because Drake May is extremely fucking good, 1. 2, like I said before, it is unfathomably hard to be this bad. So what's going to happen is next year, if they keep Gerard Mayo, they're going to win 7 games. Then they go 7-10, maybe 8-9. Ownership is going to look at that and be like, wow, that's such an improvement, and then keep him on. And then you'll move forward with him as your head coach, waste a 3rd year, have no progression, and then and only then will he be fired. Dude, no, absolutely not. Especially considering the kind of talent you have head coaching-wise sitting around. Ben Johnson is right there to be had. You fire Gerard Mayo and you give Ben Johnson the keys to the kingdom in fucking 5 seconds. You don't even think about it. You get Ben Johnson, that's a dude, young, innovative play caller, has had nothing ever to do with the New England Patriots, checks all the boxes. Comes from a now winning culture in Detroit, which is an insane thing to say. Genuinely insane thing to say that now genuinely Detroit has a good winning culture. But it's true. That is an objective fact. It is a winning culture. You get Ben Johnson. You give him the keys to the kingdom. You let him coach up Drake May and you move forward. Listen, man, I understand the argument of you can't fire Elliott Wolf because it's only been 1 year, because genuinely GMs do need more than 1 year. I will absolutely hear the argument that you keep Elliott Wolf around. Mayo, no. I know if he was a great head coach, fucking the Rams back in the day were one of the most hopeless teams of all time. Sean McVay showed up. Instantly, they're competitive fun to watch. I guarantee you some of the dudes who are low performers who are doing nothing now on this team under an actual good if we get to a new head coach who is actually competent, you get to a guy like a Ben Johnson, I guarantee you the talent on this team isn't nearly as terrible as what we're seeing. I guarantee it. I'm sorry. Fucking bad head coaches, what they do is they get nothing out of their players. I saw someone mention in the chat how would I feel about Brian Flores. No. And it's nothing to do with Brian Flores. I think Brian Flores is a fine head coach. I think Brian Flores is a completely fine head coach. I want nothing to do with Bill. You are not going to win anything going forward into the future, if you continue to cling to guys that knew or were associated with Bill Belichick, it's not going to work. What dynasty ever, like near its end, like maintained being a good team by desperately clinging on to what came from the past? You got to cut ties and move forward. Like, you got to get Ben Johnson. Just go get Ben Johnson. Like, listen, the situation's dire right now. The team sucks. The team fucking is terrible. Like, there's no doubt we all know this is just an objective fact. But with the number one pick, with hiring a guy like a Ben Johnson, you have the ability to turn this around so unfathomably quickly. I've seen some people say that, like, oh, well, the haul you'll get for the number one pick actually won't be that good. You're like, if you genuinely think that, you're dumb. You're dumb and, like, you don't pay attention to how football works. A team who is desperate for a franchise quarterback, and there's always at least one, will cope their way into thinking the number one quarterback prospect will solve all of their problems. It's absolutely guaranteed to happen. So all you got to do is ransom that pick, pit some teams against each other, trade it away, and now all of a sudden you have so much ammo, you have so much draft capital to replenish the starters on this team, to surround Drake May with talent, and you have the visionary at head coach to orchestrate it all together. You got Ben Johnson leading that. This team could go from fucking the worst team in football to, like, outside making the playoffs bare minimum next year, if you just do what I outline here. That's all you got to do. Honestly, with how weak the AFC East is with the bottom two teams, and like how weak the schedule the Patriots is going to play next year is, you have an outside chance of making the playoffs. Like, a real chance, because Drake May is going to progress. He is going to progress, I guarantee it. So, like, that's where I'm sitting at with the Patriots in terms of, like, what they need to do. Go get Ben Johnson. Absolutely go fucking get Ben Johnson right now. As soon as you can, bare minimum, if he has to wait till after the fucking Super Bowl, or, whenever the Lions get dipped from the playoffs. That's what you need to do. Do that, trade the number one pick, you move. That's all you got to do. It's such an easy scenario for you to play out. It is genuinely such an easy scenario for you to play out. Now that we've gotten the most important thing about the Patriots out of the way, like what they need to do, let's go here to, like, the less important stuff, which is, like, the guys that are still here. So, there were fired Gerard Mayo chants at the game from Patriot fans. And they were absolutely right to do it. And bless them. Bless them for even being at the game in the first place. And you get comments from guys like Dietrich Wise, man. Like, we're fucking... In regards to the moves for Gerard Mayo, I have his exact quote pulled up. With all regards to Patriots Nation, they're a little spoiled. We don't appreciate the boos. We don't appreciate the outburst against Mayo. If you're a fan, be a fan through this thick and thin. Be a fan through us thick and thin. Who do you think's at the game? Do you think it's the casual fan who doesn't give a shit, who is at a game for a team that just got the number one draft pick because of how dog shit they are? Do you think it's like the guys that don't care who are attending at that game throwing hundreds of dollars away to watch this fucking dog shit product? Like, fucking Dietrich Wise, give me a fucking break. When was he drafted? Has he ever won anything with us? Did he win a Super Bowl with us on the fucking against the Rams? Yes or no? I'm trying to remember. He might have. He genuinely might have. Honestly, if he did, then it's even more unacceptable because he knows what it takes to win then. 1 second. Yep, he did win with us against the Rams. That might have been his rookie season. This is a guy who knows what it takes to win with us. And, like, he fucking is, like, coming out here and, like, saying the team is spoiled. Dude, you've won, like, 5 games the last 2 years. What are you talking about? Give me a fucking break. Like, this is a guy, like, cool. Like, he's a guy where he's been a contributor. He's been a respectable player. Why is he a respectable guy, not a respectable quote? Per Marino in the chat. Absolutely. Dude, it's a bad quote. It's a bad quote. The only people who are at the game are people who give a shit more than anyone else. You deserve to be booed. You don't want to be booed? Fucking play better. How about that? I'm sorry. Give me a fucking break. When? Genuinely fucking when? Oh, ungrateful fans. It's some shit you expect to hear from, like, a loser fucking Jets fan. That's a quote you hear to expect from a team who, like, fans of a team whose team hasn't won dick in 50 years. I'm sorry, we're trying to uphold a fucking standard here. God forbid fans try to uphold the Patriots to a standard that we used to set. And there's delusional Patriots fans out there on Twitter who talk about this team, who talk about the way this team operates, like Bill is still at the apex of his ability. Like he's still out here like a genius making great decisions. Sorry to be the fucking newsbreaker. This team has been run as a complete joke for bare minimum the last like 5 years. I'm sorry, they're a poorly run team. They've turned into every team we've ever made fun of in terms of how they've been run the last couple years. They're a joke. Like, zero accountability. Mayo is literally whatever the direct opposite of what accountability is in a dictionary, you'll find Gerard Mayo's face there. Does anything but blame himself, shifts blame on the players. For those who are unaware when this team was actually worth a shit and fucking win, Bill Belichick, when this team was good, never, ever shifted blame on the players. All he would ever do was say, it's my fault. He would say, I should have put them in a better position. I should have made them, I should have shifted them in this area so they would perform better. I should have game planned better. Accountability. I am fucking up. I fucked up. We would have done better if I would have put them in a better position. Gerard Mayo is the complete fucking opposite of that. It's fucking, deflect, point fingers, this guy stinks, he should have executed better, my game plan was good, you shouldn't point the finger at me. Give me a fucking break. Like, no, the game plan's not good. The game plan's not good enough. Like, fucking, the offense isn't good. Oh, ask Alex Van Pelt why that is. Give me a fucking break. Where's accountability? Everyone always says, like, the Patriots are, like, hard to deal with. Like, their fans and the media is hard to deal with. Genuinely, all anyone at any sports fan base wants you to do is take fucking accountability. Just say, I fucked up. It gives you so much leeway. That's why Chris Sale with the Red Sox forever, even though people were upset about the contract, they never usually hated him. Because whenever you ask Chris Sale, like, what the problem here is, he's like, yeah, I just can't stay healthy. It sucks. I would give anything to get out there and contribute for the team. It's been unacceptable how I perform. It's how he fucking said. Exactly for Marino. What he just pointed out in the chat. Ramondre Stevenson is going to be on the bench to start today to punish him for his fumble problem. And he fucking started the game. He got the first carry of the game. He couldn't make it one fucking snap. Holding up to a standard. What are you playing for, to win? Excuse me. Give me a fucking break. Like, it's just not, it's a joke. This team is a joke. They're run by fucking clowns. I take the players on this team, the only player on this team I take seriously is fucking Drake May. He's the only guy who could take seriously, and, Christian Gonzalez, he can be in there too. Yet Jacoby gives us the best chance to win. Don't even get me fucking started. Beginning of the season when I, fucking correctly, by the way, again, was talking about how, hey, Drake May should be playing every game. Since game one, he is better than Jacoby Brissett. Every player in that locker room knew he was better than Jacoby Brissett. Their locker room was on the edge of a fucking mutiny after 2 weeks because they knew how much better Drake was than Jacoby Brissett, and they artificially didn't let him play because, like, oh, that's what good franchises do. Oh, Pat Mahomes sat for a year, so that means we need to sit Drake May. Fucking listen, you're so dumb. You're so dumb. Talent is talent. Talent will overcome if he's good enough. That's just how it is. Always worked in the NFL. Like, saying that he needed to sit is Mac Jones defender logic, aka delusional fucking idiot logic. Mac Jones just wasn't good. The problem wasn't he was ruined. It wasn't that, the fucking situation sucked. No, Mac Jones was just terrible. He was just a really bad football player. Like, yeah, the situation could have been better. It absolutely, yeah, the situation isn't good, but talent will overcome the situation if the talent is great enough. That has always been the rule in the NFL. Give me a fucking break with the goddamn excuses. Fucking where? Fucking where? It's a joke. It's genuinely a fucking joke. Like, ungrateful Patriots fans. Sorry we know what winning looks like. Sorry we know what a good team looks like. Sorry we know what the standard has to be in order for this team to win a fucking thing. I just saw another Ben Johnson insane, mind-breaking play on Twitter per Marino. Yeah, I saw it. It was like the hook and lateral, and like Dan Campbell was like smirking on the sidelines before he made the call. You just get Ben Johnson, man. That's all you got to do. It's like a full court press for him. Get Ben Johnson. He's what you need to do. He's what you need to get. The game plan to fix the New England Patriots this year is easy. It's easy, and it's concerning that I'm terrified that they're gonna fuck this up, because genuinely it's so fucking easy to fix this team. Get someone who can run an offense, even if it's not Ben Johnson per Alex. Dude, I would Brian Daboll? Give me Brian Daboll. Feed me Brian Daboll. You know, even if not as a head coach, fucking throw him whatever it needs to be to make him the offensive coordinator. That's the guy who helped make Josh Allen. That's the con to Drake May. Fucking get Brian Daboll if you have to. He has roots in the Patriots organization. He came up here. But like, yeah, he went to Buffalo and fucking thrived. You gotta get a guy who can run an offense. Get a guy who can develop Drake May. Do not get me a fucking, defensive. I don't want a defensive head coach, man. I just don't want a defensive head coach. It's the year 2024 in the NFL. Get him out of my face. If the head coach runs the offense, we don't have to worry about replacing OCs every 2 years. Exactly. Then you just got to focus on hiring a DC who no one hires. Steve Spagnuolo has been with the Chiefs for like a half decade now. He's one of the best defensive minds in the sport. No one will hire him because they know he's a fucking career DC. They know that they don't want to take a risk hiring an older defensive mind. There's no fucking reason to do that. You go young, you go offense. That's what you need to do. It's not hard. Per Chuck, and this is not a bad point, as incompetent as Mayo is, I'm much more concerned about the personnel department. The personnel's bad. You're not wrong. The wide receiver room is the worst in the NFL. They can't really defend very well. They're not really good at stopping the run. They're mediocre at stopping the pass. But that's the thing. That's what the number one pick is for. You trade back, you get 50 billion picks, and you use that to supplement the talent. Is Elliott Wolf the right guy to pick that talent? I don't know. I think it's probably impossible that they fire him, though. I sincerely doubt they fire him. It's rare that, a GM gets 1 year. A coach getting 1 year is understandable. It's hard for a GM because that's sending a really bad message. I agree they should clear out the front office. In ideal situation, in a real-life situation, I think they should completely clean house and fucking just reset. Because this team, the decision-makers they have in place here just simply are not good enough. They are not it. They're not it. They're not good enough. They can't do the job correctly. I fucking completely agree. There's no way you just don't trade back to 5-8 and get worse. Will Johnson, Carter, Will Campbell, etc. The scouting department is mostly the same for a decade of bad drafts. Yeah, you're not wrong, man. The drafting's been bad for a while. Specifically offensively, the offensive talent drafted to this team has been a complete joke for a decade. There's a reason their wide receiver room is as destitute as it is. There's going to be some guys that have shown some flashes. Kayshawn Boutte might be a guy. He could be a guy. He's not a one. None of the motherfuckers on the team right now are a one. Ideal, you have a bajillion dollars in cap space. You have picks. So, hey, man, supplement. Boutte is a high-end 3. I think that's a good take. I think that's a good take from Alex. High-end 3. I think I'd agree with that. You throw money. I think, to me, you throw money at a number 1 wide receiver in free agency. You use the draft to pick offensive linemen, defensive linemen, and, maybe 1 wide receiver. But, really build your trenches. Throw the money at the actual established NFL players that are very good in free agency. And you move. I'm telling you, you can fix this team so quickly if it's managed correctly. The problem is that the New England Patriots have been managed like dog shit for a half decade. So that's why it seems so hard in our minds to envision it. So, Alex puts in the chat, talk about the top 3 players you want in free agency and the draft. Number 1, I just want T. Higgins. To me, you get him and make him your number 1 receiver. T. Higgins is extremely good. You have so much money. Just throw it at him. I cannot talk extensively about the draft. I watched no college football this year, boys. I'm not going to bullshit you. I've seen Travis Hunter highlights. Like, if you could get Travis Hunter, he'd be fucking sick. I think he's an amazing player. But, like, in terms of, like, wider, like, draft thoughts, my ass is not informed enough. I'm not informed enough on the draft. I'm not going to bullshit you and pretend to you like I got fucking Todd McShay on the payroll, feeding me, like, exactly what I need to do. But, like, in terms of free agency, like, I think, like, absolutely you go get a T. Higgins. In terms of shoring up the offensive line, I'm looking at the list. Trey Smith is available. He's fantastic for the Chiefs. I throw money at him in a fucking second to help rebuild your offensive line. And then, like, I don't know, find a tackle and find an edge. Someone mentioned Josh Sweat. I think Josh Sweat would be fantastic off the edge. I don't know how much he'll be going for. What's Josh Sweat's season looking like this year in terms of its totality? I know he's having a good year by, like, PFF grade and everything. Obviously, all this needs to be fucking, stacked on top of with a good draft. But, like, yeah, Josh Sweat's good for between as high as 11 sacks, 8 sacks this year. And he's a good edge rusher. The Patriots cannot rush the quarterback. I would not mind Josh Sweat at all. I think it'd be fine. I think I would rather run back the wide receiver core, basically with a smaller medium edition in free agency and let them develop. Just focus on everything else, which, believe it or not, is worse. I don't believe in wide receivers developing over time. I just don't. If you're a great wide receiver, you're going to hit the ground running and be great immediately. That's basically how it has always worked. Like I said, I'm paying Trey Smith, I'm paying T. Higgins, and then I am adding a bunch of shit in the draft. And hopefully that if Wolf is smart enough, he will find undervalued guys in free agency to fill the holes in this team. Whether or not you think he's actually smart enough to do that is another completely different question. But I just mean we can't take a wide receiver early in the draft. I'd agree with that. I think you take a wide receiver in the mid-rounds. I think that the depth of wide receiver talent in the draft the last couple of years has been insane. So, like, you don't necessarily have to draft high up for a wide receiver. I think, honestly, like, you could fill, your needs in the trenches first. Or, like, draft another really great corner to pair alongside with Christian Gonzalez, Travis Hunter. If you can get Travis Hunter, I would not mind Travis Hunter at all. I think Backler has that booty breakout next year. Or Javon Baker. Maybe. I hope so. Man. I genuinely hope so. He's clearly got the skill. Well, we don't know, but it's the mental side that needs work. Yeah. I mean, dude, like, to me, like, you're hoping. And, like, you can have him on, like, start the season as a wide receiver 4 or 5 and hope that, like, he plays better. And that's completely fine. I think that's acceptable. But in terms of, like, coming into the season, like, with him being even the wide receiver 3, I think absolutely not. You can't do that. I think you need him to be on the lower end of the depth chart, and he earns his way to a higher spot if he does become that good. People are talking about, like, Hunter in the chat. Hunter's a corner, so I'm fine with him. I agree with that. I like Travis Hunter a lot. Like I said, though, I'm not going to bullshit you and pretend like I'm fucking, out here grinding college football tape. I just haven't been. I've been paying attention to the Sox offseason. I've been paying attention to some football. And, I mean, yeah, man. I mean, in terms of, like, where the Patriots are sitting at right now, there's hope. There definitely is hope. As long as you have Drake May, there's hope. I have some belief in what they can do in the future. I'm hoping to God that they can figure it out and build what we have around them good. Will our coaches have the collective IQ of Brian Ferentz when it comes to offense? See, I do know that reference. Brian Ferentz is one of the biggest jokes of all time. For those who don't know, Kirk Ferentz's son, the coach of Iowa State, or so not Iowa, of Iowa football, the University of Iowa football. And nepotism hire, and he was dog shit. They had, like, the worst offense in college football for, like, every year he was there. It was very, very funny. So I think I'm going to move on here. Got plenty of football talk in. A lot of Pats talk. I'm happy with that. We move forward. The Bostonian Red Stockings. He works for my Terps. God bless you, bro. Baseball. The Boston Red Sox. We move forward. Listen. Sox kid indeed. The Boston Red Sox are in an interesting position right now. Because we're kind of in a lull in the offseason. Sox indeed. We're in a lull in the offseason. We're waiting for them to do something. And I've had a lot of conversations with my good friend, my good amigo, partner, Ed Hand, podcasting compatriot. And something I've come to realize with the Red Sox over the last couple of years is that they are extremely bad at picking a direction. Per Marino, I kind of don't mind the offseason so far. I also, the offseason to this point has been good. It's been good. You get Garrett Crochet, you get Walker Buehler. The rotation is going to be it's going to be good. It's going to be a good rotation. Has the potential to be a great rotation depending on how Bayo develops and how Houck looks again this year. But I understand the frustration because the Sox have this money left. Alex Bregman's right there. They've yet to throw the money at him when debatably he solves a lot of issues, especially if you're playing him at second base and, keeping Tristan Cassis, keeping Rafael Devers over at third. If you're playing him over at second, I talked myself into it. I like Alex Bregman. If Sam Kennedy could shut the fuck up, it would be even better. If Vleko's, I couldn't have said it better myself. I've been saying on record for months that, the Red Sox front office, everyone of them just should just shut the fuck up. I don't want to listen to anything that these idiots have to say about anything. You're snakes, and no one wants to hear what you're talking about. Shut up. I completely agree. Good take. Good take from Vleko's. In terms of Bregman, you have to do it. I think Bregman is easy. No doubt you get him. But, caveat, if another team like the Tigers, I'll bid you for Bregman, and you don't get Bregman. Now, people aren't going to like hearing this. And trust me, I get it. Trust me, I completely get it. It won't be a disaster. Why won't it be a disaster? Because of this. We're saying the Red Sox are bad at picking a direction. If you pass on Bregman, the direction is extremely clear. This is what you need to do. Play the young guys. Play the youth. You play Campbell, who debatably offensively will have a better year than Bregman this year in his rookie season. And you play Roman Anthony. You play the youth, and you let them figure it out. It's really not that fucking hard. I've seen people talking, obviously, about Nolan Arenado. The more I look into Arenado, fucking get him away from my face. Any lineup balance that Nolan Arenado would bring would be a complete fucking zero factor. Like, the idea that Arenado brings balance to the lineup is a farce. You want to know why? Why would bringing Arenado into this lineup do nothing? The Red Sox are bad against left-handed pitching. When you bring a right-handed batter in, you think, hey, this guy's probably going to be pretty good against left-handed pitching. Not Nolan Arenado. He has reverse splits. No one talks about that. He's better against righties than he is against lefties. He had a 650 OPS last year against left-handed pitching. Tristan Cassis was markedly better against lefties than Nolan Arenado. Right, but Nolan is right-handed, so that fixes everything per Alex Cora, probably. Yes, I'm sorry. Thinking that Arenado fixes how bad you are against lefties is a cave brain, I'm not even going to bother looking at the numbers take. It's dumb. It's a dumb thing to say. We don't need to go all in this year per Marino. Yes, that is a good take. This is why you let the youth play. I've seen some people say, go get Ha-Sung Kim. Fucking shit idea. Terrible. Dumb. Absolutely brain dead. The only person that I am potentially pushing back a prospect for is Bregman and or a Carlos Correa, which I will talk about later. Get Ha-Sung Kim the fuck out of my face. Disgusting. I agree from Alex, this is a playoff year. I completely agree. Completely agree. That is objectively the correct take. I would tell you with the young guys, this is a playoff team right now. It's not like you're plugging in absolute bums to play. Roman Anthony is the number one prospect in baseball, and all the Red Sox people I talk to in the organization think Kristen Campbell is better than him, or at least potentially could be better than him. You let those guys in, you let them make their mistakes, and you let them fucking figure it out. By the second half of the season, they are going to be extremely good. Per Didatic Jam, not to mention the AL is weak and has gotten weaker. Absolutely. You let the young guys play. You let the young guys play. You let them figure out this team is good enough right now to make the playoffs. At the trade deadline, you absolutely add when they are good enough, because they're going to be good enough. This team is really good right now. People are talking to this team like they're bums. They're not. They can make the playoffs. They can absolutely make the playoffs. They might be able to make a run. This year, in terms of the flow chart, should be that you make the playoffs year. This is that you get experience for the young guys year. Because this is a young team. This is a very young team. Rafael Devers is the grizzled vet on this team. That is an objective fact. That's why I don't mind, pushing a prospect back a bit for Bregman, because he brings leadership, he brings championship credibility to the team. I would love if you got Bregman, but if you don't get him, it's fine. You let Campbell play. You let him figure it out. You let Anthony play. You let him figure it out. They're going to be great. And per Marino, like if you go down this direction, you just use that money to add an elite reliever. Go get Jeff Hoffman or a Tanner Scott, and then have a elite bullpen, because the bullpen right now is very good. People aren't talking about it because they're doomers and all they want to do is shit all over the fucking team. The bullpen as it stands right now is very good. The rotation as it stands right now is really good. The lineup is going to hit. Even with the players you have right now, nothing you have, I guarantee you, there's no chance that this lineup is any worse than 12th in the big leagues. I'm guaranteeing you it. I absolutely agree. If you added Bregman, it would be a big win now move. It would more importantly show that the ownership is willing to invest, which is completely understandable, by the way, why people are frustrated right now with this discussion, because of the fact that, like, you want them to spend money, and I completely understand it. I understand. It's fine. It's a completely worthwhile observation to make, because they should spend money. Like, they just should. Like, honestly, like, they should have thrown money at fucking Burns and not thought anything of it. They should have exceeded whatever the offer the Yankees were throwing at Fried, not even thought about it. I completely agree with that, man. I completely agree. But, like, in terms of, like, what's actually best for the Boston Red Sox, I'm sorry, the scenario where Campbell and Anthony are playing is not even close to a bad one. That's still very, very good. You don't think twice about that. You let the young guys play and you fucking ball. It really is that simple. And, like, in terms of that doubling down on the youth, I need to put this out there into the universe. I had a discussion with this ad yesterday. If you don't pay Bregman, okay, that's fine. There is another way to show that you are willing to put the money forward. There are bare minimum 2 guys who absolutely 100%, if you are a team that has any idea what it's doing, you extend. Garrett Crochet, he should be extended before he throws his first pitch with the Boston Red Sox. You extend him. Roman Anthony, here's your Jackson Chourio extension before he even plays a game with the Boston Red Sox. Also, honestly, if I'm being completely honest, Kristen Campbell, bang, extended before he plays his first game with the Boston Red Sox. You do that now. You do it absolutely now. You know how good these guys are. You know how good they're gonna be. Put your fucking nuts on the table. Understand and trust your evaluation and get value on them now before you get fucking burned way later on. As Marino said, it's risky, but if they all hit, you win 4 rings. It's risky, but what's riskier? Betting on a 20-year-old and a 22-year-old or betting on a 30-year-old in free agency? The Braves gave you the blueprint. The Braves gave you the blueprint of what you need to do when you have a bunch of young, ascending talent before they have hit their stride. You get them the money now. You get them the money right fucking now before you're paying a bajillion million fucking dollars in the future. Ozzy Albies is making $7.25 an hour. Like, I'm sorry. He's making... Ronald Acuna is making $11 an hour based on, like, what he's fucking should be getting paid. Even if you got, like, a Bobby Witt extension where it was that much, Bobby Witt is making fucking nothing based on what he should be making. Nothing. Braves gave us the blueprint. Which all-star players we need to sacrifice to win a World Series? Duran. That was from Alex. That's a good, very funny. I don't know. Maybe Willier. That is extremely funny. Like, dude, you pay the young guys. And, like, if anyone's like, you know, they haven't earned it yet, you're old and shut the fuck up. Like, I'm sorry. Like, we're in the modern MLB. We're in the modern era. Fucking understand what we need to do here. Throw the money at them. Pay these guys now before they make $600 million in free agency in 7 years. It's all you have to do. I've seen some people be like, oh, well, it takes 2 to tango. These guys are not going to see even close to this level of money in 5 years. Like, that's why these young guys are willing to take these extensions, because they're making pennies on the dollar in their first 5 years in the big leagues. Like, you're going from seeing, like, fucking $1 million a year or, like, $800,000 a year to getting fucking $10 million a year, like, now. And, like, that's an insane jump. You need to capitalize on this situation now. We're the Boston Red Sox. We can't have a bad contract on the payroll. God, give me a fucking... That really is the John Henry mindset. Like, people talking about, like, the pitching contracts, why you wouldn't give Burns out. People like the David Price contract was a monstrosity. Quick reminder, you won a fucking World Series with David Price. How much of a disaster was it you won a World Series? You won a World Series with David Price. You would not have won that World Series without David Price on that team. Give me a break. Stop. It was a bad contract. To who? John Henry's pocketbook, sure. As a fan, why do you give a fuck? You won. You won. You won a World Series. Chris Sale's extension, that was a bad contract. 100% agree with you there. We all said it was shit at the time. We said, why are you paying him now? You still have a year to go. I completely agreed with that. That's a good take. Chris Sale's extension was terrible, and that's what's got Dave Dombrowski fired. But if you're bitching about David Price's contract in the year 2024, and you're not John Henry, shut the fuck up. Stop. It's an unlucky contract for Sale? Yeah, very unlucky. It was a bad contract purely just out of bad luck. Like, yeah, that is absolutely true. And, like, it's a bummer. I love Chris Sale. Chris Sale's great. I'm happy that he succeeded, but fuck. Like, David Price, like, to quote Tyler Milliken, fucking spare me. Shut the fuck up. Nobody cares. Oh, man. Hey, guys, it's me, John Henry, just spending my Tuesday in the Hog stream. Love that. By the way, I'm feeling my voice absolutely being destroyed right now. This is what happens if you go from 0 to 100 after not doing a stream for a couple months or recording endless hours of podcasting for a couple months. So after, like, tomorrow, my voice is going to probably be completely gone, which is funny. It's hard for me to strain my voice. It's very, very hard for me to do. I've got a great voice. Moving forward, I need to just quickly discuss Tristan Casas. Because Craig Breslow recently came out, not to be parasocial to a celebrity, but I missed you. I missed you guys too. Tristan Casas. Craig Breslow came out and was like, I've not been shopping Tristan Casas. Now, there is plausible deniability there. A little bit. Do I think Craig Breslow has actively been out there trying to just ship Tristan Casas into the ethos? No. But the Mariners thing came out. The Mariners thing came out, and, like, the first report was that Breslow was the one who offered Casas plus Yoshida in a salary dump for Luis Castillo. From what I've been told, that is not what happened. What I've been told, Jerry Dipoto is the one who put that forth. Jerry Dipoto is the one who said, I will only do Casas if you, I will, only do, Casas with, Yoshida. Like, that's the only way, like, I'd do it. Or, like, whatever. Like, he's the one who put forth that idea. That it would be Casas plus Yoshida. And that Craig was the one who balked at that and said, absolutely not. And, like, listen. It's he said, she said. It very much was a he said, she said situation. And, like, I don't know. I'm a little inclined to believe Breslow. I really want to believe Breslow, because if Breslow offered up Casas plus Yoshida in that salary dump, I think he's the biggest idiot ever, and I don't want to hear anything he ever has to say about baseball knowledge or, like, making the correct decision ever again. Just never again. Shut the fuck up. You have no idea what you're talking about if that's what you offered. So, like, I want to pump the brakes on the Craig Breslow hate. From what I've heard, like, fucking, from some people who are in the know, like, that's not what happened. So, I actually don't think that he's been actively shopping Casas everywhere. I think that he is in the right situation on the table, but I think that situation would be for an ace. Like, straight up, and that's why, like, other teams haven't been trading for Casas, because the Red Sox value him at what he should be valued at, which is a premier middle-of-the-order bat. That's what they value Tristan Casas as. Other teams do not. And, yeah. I mean, listen. I'll believe Breslow on this one. I don't think they're actively shopping him. I just also don't think that he's untouchable. Saying he's untouchable is patently false. It's a patently false statement. And, like, the reason Tristan Casas, discussions annoy me so much is because, like, whenever, like, the concept of trading him comes up, the biggest idiots in all of the Red Sox fan base kind of appear, and they start talking about baseball like they've never heard of, like, what fair value in a trade is before. They're like, yeah, we should trade Casas for an ace. Okay, well, it's Major League Baseball in the year 2024. Baseball teams are not trading aces for first baseman. Dude, like, first basemen just aren't getting paid. They aren't. Like, fucking, in every situation, first basemen have been getting lowballed. And you think you're going to be able to trade your young star first baseman for an ace? In this market? Give me a fucking break. That's why I've always said trading Cassis would be stupid. Because you wouldn't be getting fair value. And anyone who thinks you would be getting fair value doesn't know how fucking trades work with first baseman in the year 2024. I'm sorry, that just is true. So, like, that's why the Cassis conversations annoy me, because to even entertain the possibility that he's going to be traded, you have to turn off basically every bit of baseball knowledge that you've accrued over your entire fucking life to this point and have an IQ of 0. That's why. Like, that's why I'm frustrated by the conversations. Yeah, well, I only do trades on baseball trade values and MLB Trade this show. Thank you, Blackos. Thank you for that. Very true. Very true. Earlier, though, I want to move forward. I mentioned Carlos Correa is the only other situation where I block a prospect. I've seen some people, i.e. my good friend Ed Hand, say I do not want Carlos Correa, which to me is the most insane take I have ever heard. He's like, he's Trevor Story, but slightly better. First of all, no. He's like Trevor Story in that he's Trevor Story, but literally better at everything, so I guess they really aren't that similar. Also, in terms of games missed, this year, I'll grant you, Correa played 80 games, or like 82 games. Year before that, he played 135 games. The year before that, he played 136 games. He has been healthier in the back half of his career than in the first half of his career. That's a fucking true statement to make. If you can get Carlos Correa, it would be a salary dump for the Twins. The Twins do not have a TV deal right now. You'd be taking advantage of a Twins team who does not want to pay salary and fucking, like, they're trying to shed salary. They don't want to pay people. Like, also say, like, you know, in the Correa deal, you can somehow also try to get Johan Duran, try to capitalize on him while he's at his lowest value, get them in the same deal. Do that. You do that in a fucking second. Carlos Correa adds everything Alex Bregman adds, in theory, but better. Because Carlos Correa is better than Alex Bregman at this point in their careers. Absolutely. His ankle will implode the days the trades not stop being a doomer, you fucking asshole. Do my eyes to see me, a Hogdale offseason stream. We're recording an episode of Endless Ranting, Nova. Good to see you, man. And these are going to be happening frequently. Very, very frequently. But to get back, dude, if you can get Alex Bregman, you need to get him fucking ASAP. Get him ASAP. I like him, like I said, you like him so much better than Bregman? I do too. Hey, guess what? That's the home for the Wilyer Abreu trade. Willier's gone. Cutter Crawford, he's the odd man out. He's in that trade. Throw in some prospects too. Like, you know, hey, if they need a good prospect to get it over the top, hey, guess what? That's where Miguel Blay goes. That's where Franklin Arias goes. Bring in Bregman. Holy shit, dude! This lineup looks so much better with with Carlos Correa. That's the right-handed bat. I also like Wilyer, but I don't like him more than Roman Anthony. Because, like, yeah, now you move Wilyer, that's Roman Anthony's spot. You know, and the infield's packed up. Guess what? Now Kristen Campbell's a left fielder. Now your outfield is Campbell, Duran, Anthony. And your infield is what? Raffy at third, Correa at shortstop, Story at second, Cassis first, Wong/Narvaez at catcher, and you're fucking cooking. You are absolutely cooking. Mazza's still DH, which is kind of a shame, but fucking, you know, I mean, it's one of those things where they can't really move Mazza to this point. Exactly, Campbell in left field. I'm telling you, man, Carlos Correa on this team, like, that's a fucking 95-win team. That's a team, like, with this rotation, with that bullpen, especially if you can get Johan Duran in that trade, too. Are you fucking kidding me? That's a World Series contender. If you can make it happen, make it happen. The Twins do not want to pay salary right now. They do not have a TV deal. Make it happen. Make it happen in a second. Last topic I have written down, and it's a minor one. It's not nearly as bombastic as everything else we've talked about today. Yamasaki Yoshida barf. I want to talk about, real quick, the Red Sox catching situation, because I've seen some people doomering about it, and to an extent I understand. But I really think they're undervaluing the guy that we just got, Narvaez. I think he's going to be, based on what I'm hearing from all the people in the know, he is going to be by far the best Red Sox defensive catcher in the last 3 years. He's going to bring real defense back to the Boston Red Sox. He might not be able to hit, but genuinely, who gives a fuck? I think Narvaez at some point this season will take over our starting catching position. I like him. Our catching position is not great. Connor Wong is not good. He is a bad player. Connor Wong is not a good player at all. I would 100% agree with that. His under the hood numbers per Savant are fucking dookie dog shit bad. And he is maybe the worst defensive catcher in the league. So, like, listen, it's not an ideal situation, but I don't think it's going to be as bad as possible. Our Narvaez did hit decently in AAA, but obviously, like, AAA to the big leagues is, you know, it's different. Like, I have more confidence in his defense, trending over than his offense. Like, maybe he could be a good hitter, and if he is, then he'll be a great catcher for this team. It'll be fun, but Wong sucks. Like, he does. Like, I would have preferred you got a Carson Kelly in free agency, ran with Kelly Narvaez, and then shipped Wong off to the fucking Sun, or to have him be a utility infielder of some kind. And like, I don't know, in terms of utility infielders, I just need to mention this, by the way. Anyone who's still penciling in Cedar Rafaela into the everyday starting 9 as the left fielder, center fielder, right fielder, get a fucking grip. Absolutely not. No. He's a utility guy. Cedar is your fucking super utility guy who plays a million positions. That is what his position is for this team going forward, and that's okay. To this point, he has not earned a spot in the starting lineup. He hasn't been good enough to earn a spot in the starting lineup every day. Not with the talent you have coming up. Absolutely not with the talent you have coming up, man. You got Kristen Campbell coming up. You got Roman Anthony coming up. Yeah, I'm sorry. No. He cannot be your everyday outfielder. He can't be an everyday player. No reason for him to be. Call me crazy, but I want no long-term commitments to guys like Bregman or Correa. It's a respectable take to have. I think Correa is worth the risk. In terms of long-term, I wouldn't want to give Bregman 7 years. If you can get Bregman on 5, if you can get a medium-term commitment, I mean, shit, man. I mean, I would do that in a fucking heartbeat. I would do a 5-year deal, like $35 million per, and just roll with it. I'd do it in a second. But like I said, if you want to roll with the youth, then, like, I also think that's a viable option. I think the youth is a viable option. I'm just saying that if Carlos Correa is on the board, I think you got to look into it. 5 years is 3 years too long for my liking. Nah, that's insane. Because 5 years from now, you're going to have the super young guys, like, coming up in the second wave to replace those guys, and they're going to be cheap. Dude, do you have any idea how many amazing things I've heard about guys like Franklin Arias for guys like a Miguel Blay? In 5 years, that's when they can come up and fill cheap holes in the team. They'll be amazing. Like, I'm not worried about 5 years from now. I'm just not. I think the 1-year deal for Ha-Seong Kim, I mentioned this earlier, Fleckos, but, like, fucking, unless, like, the only situation I'm bringing Ha-Seong Kim in is if he's, like, filling in for guys on the bench to get guys a day off. I want no part of him on this team. Fuck off. Like, Ha-Seong Kim can fuck off. That's Kristen Campbell's spot. Like, I'm not blocking Christian Campbell with Ha-Seong Kim. It's just not happening. No universe. I want no part of Bregman past age 32 or 33. I think his game ages pretty well. I honestly do. Like, he's a guy where he doesn't strike out. Good contact hitter. Why don't we like Ha-Seong? Ha-Seong Kim is fine. Kristen Campbell's just better. Ha-Seong Kim is fine. It's just that, like, fucking the guys we have coming up are more exciting and have, like, the potential to be better now. I just don't want to, like, we're wasting our time here. Stop blocking Kristen Campbell. Stop blocking Roman Anthony. Like, the fuck are we doing blocking these guys? And, like, for any person who says Roman Anthony's 20 years old, he needs another year, get a job. Like, I don't know, fucking obtain better ball knowledge. Like, oh, what, because Jackson Holiday couldn't hack it? Give me a fucking break. Look at what Roman Anthony was doing at AAA and tell me that, like, he has things to learn down there. No, he fucking doesn't. If it was up to the people who say Roman Anthony couldn't come up, that the Nationals never would have won a World Series because they brought Juan Soto up at age 19. They would have kept him down there because he needed more time to marinate. Give me a fucking break. Trust your evaluators. Trust what you know to be the truth. You see the reality before you, fucking believe it. Use your eyes and believe it. Believe the reality you know to be true. Stop being a pussy. Stop pussyfooting around the situation. Fucking do it. Play Anthony. Play Campbell. You know they're good enough. You know it. Yeah, we had 2 rookies all last year. Worked fine. It worked great. Campbell and Roman are both better than those rookies we had last year. Willier was a great surprise because of last year. I'm sorry, man. Stop being pussies. Trust in the situation you have. You know these guys are great. Fucking play them. It's just that simple. They're that good, play them. God. Where was a Gold Glove winner, Rookie of the Year candidate? Exactly. That's everything I have on the docket, boys. Is there any pressing matter that you want me to get to before I sign off and we're done with the episode? I still might hang around and talk for a little bit, though, after that. I think you could play them while also investing in a safety net. Yeah, I mean, a safety net is fine, I guess. I don't know, I like our depth options right now. I think they're pretty good. Starting rotation, in regards to the starting rotation, I like where we're sitting with the starting rotation. I would have preferred you sign a guy like a Corbin Burns or a Max Fried, but I think the rotation right now is looking very, very good on paper. I mean, we're going to break down the starting rotation real quick. Well, Crochet's your ace, so that's your number 1. So it's Crochet. I put Houck as your number 2 right now. And then it's Bueller. Bayo as your number 4, which is great. And your number 5, I think right now, is Giolito. I will hear the argument that Cutter should be your number 5. I think there's still plenty of things to believe in terms of Cutter. I like Giolito, though. I think Giolito has a chance to be very, very good on this team. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. And then Cutter's your odd man out. That's your number 6. And then after that, I mean, like what? It's Priester, who I really like. I'm excited to see Priester at some point this season. I'm hearing great things about him. And after that, Dick Fitz. That's your, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 8 guys. That's 8 guys, man. That's 8 guys who can give you innings. Fitz was great at the end of last season. Those are 8 really solid guys. Yeah, I forgot Fulmer is on this team. And, he'll probably pitch out of the, they said he's going to, be a starter, so that's your 9. Criswell, that's your 10. Yeah, that's 10 guys. You have 2 rotations. I mean, I like where we're sitting at, man. I'd ship Cutter out and give Fitz his role. I agree. I think Cutter's the odd man out. I think you move him in a deal, potentially for a closer. Honestly, is that the way you get a Ryan Halsey? Is that a way you get a guy like a Johan Duran as a ship Cutter out? I'm just saying. I like Cutter. I don't think Cutter's bad. I would only trade him for a very good player, but I mean, in terms of adding another insane piece to this bullpen and making the team very good for this fucking this section of Red Sox baseball for winning now, I would not it would not kill me to see Cutter go. It just wouldn't. I mean, in terms of since we're on the pitching, and let's go move over to the bullpen as well. Bullpen is underratedly good. Like I said before, I've been on record saying this. I don't care if they start the season with Hendricks. By the end of the season, Slayton is going to be your closer. Justin Slayton is amazing. I think Justin Slayton has the best stuff on this roster. He's incredible. I think Slayton's your closer. I think Hendricks is your setup. I think Chapman is your other setup guy. I think that's your top 3. And then it is Garrett Whitlock as your 7th inning arm / if they want to have him be a multi-inning guy again, I think he's your next best guy in the bullpen. After that, Luis Guerrero, that's an option. He looked amazing last year. He absolutely has earned a spot in this bullpen. That's where you're sitting at next. Can we take Chapman out back and shoot him? Oh, I'll hear the argument. I'll hear the argument. So right now we're sitting Slayton, Hendricks, Chapman, Whitlock, Guerrero. Zach Kelly is going to get run again in this bullpen. I don't know if he makes the opening day roster, though. I'm trying to remember who else we have on the 40-man right now. One second. Red Sox 40-man, because I'm missing guys. I'm missing good players on this in this bullpen right now. Hunter Dobbins is going to get a chance to make the bullpen out of free agency. So Cutter Cutter as of right now is in the bullpen. So I'll put him ahead of Guerrero. So right now that's Crawford. It's Whitlock, Crawford, and then Guerrero. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Criswell to me is your mop-up man. So that's 7. And there's 8 guys in a bullpen, so that's 1 more spot. And you have multiple guys who are battling out for that spot. Who am I, let's see, I also think you just run a 6-man rotation. I don't want to burn the bullpen out again, man. You only run, Weissert, yep, that's your last guy. That's Weissert. And then you have a bunch of guys who are odd man out looking in. Kelly is Zach Kelly is a depth arm. Fucking Chris Murphy is a depth arm. He was very good. He's coming back from, I think, TJ. So he'll be a depth arm. Bernardino is a depth arm. I mean, you're sitting in a good spot, man. You're sitting in a good spot. You have depth. You have depth and you have good players. I like where we're sitting at in terms of the pitching. Oh, boy, man. So, yeah. Absolutely. I think you run a 6-man. No one goes under 5 innings. Cutter fits through otherwise. To me, the only way you get to go 6-man is if you find another lockdown closer. Like either sign Tanner Scott or a Jeff Hoffman, or you trade for a guy like a Ryan Helsey. I'm very high on Cutter having a breakout. That's fair enough. If you want to find a way to get Cutter involved, if they're high on Cutter, I completely get it. Cutter has talent. I'm not out on Cutter Crawford. I think it's highly unlikely that he gives up the most home runs in the big leagues again. I think that is insanely unlikely. Can I have your autograph, even though I said you would suck? All right, gentlemen. Anything else we wanted to get to before we're about wrapped up? Give another solo shot. It was insane levels of it. I like it, man. This was fun. This is a fun episode. Cut those down a little, and he's a great 5. Like I said, I'll end the episode here, but I'll still stick around and talk to you guys for a bit longer as well. Before I head out and enjoy the rest of my day. Giolito being Elite 6. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know what? I think I'm going to call it. I'm going to say that is it for the first live edition. And Vlecko's giving out 10 subs. Dude, you're the man. You're the fucking best, dude. You're the fucking best. There will be at least one episode of Endless Ranting every week starting from today. I guarantee it. I will go live once a week. I will find out within the next couple days, like if I'm going to do a set day for that. Every one of you who came out today, I love every one of you. Everyone who listened, you're the best. Thank you so much for supporting me. Love y'all. Appreciate every single one of you. I'll see you next time. Again, love y'all, and goodbye.